ta tillbaka någonting av det jag sagt. Men om du låter mig förklara har vi i alla fall försökt ge dig en chans. Du vill ha någon som tar hand om dig, men du låter inte mig. Våra spöken, ingen enkel grej, men jag har i alla fall försökt ge dig en chans. Stora känslor väller ur när du säger att du vill testa. Stora känslor fångar i mig när du säger att du vill ge mig en chans. Jag gör vad som helst för att hitta balansen, baby, bara en chans till. Tro mig, jag ska visa dig allt vad mer än for life. För många nätter på att lösa sånt som aldrig borde varit problem. Denna gången vill jag göra om. Vi blir bättre och bättre nu. Alla omkring mig kallar mig lucky one, för jag har en thing med dig, med thing med dig. Alla omkring mig kallar mig lucky one, för jag har en thing med dig. När du säger att du vill ge mig en chans. Jag gör vad som helst för att hitta balansen, baby, bara en chans till. Tro mig, jag ska visa dig allt vad mer än for life. Det är en chans. Jag gör vad som helst för att hitta dig.
Okay. Hello. We're playing Final Fantasy again because I'm bored and I actually have energy because it's not as late. It's only like 2 in the morning. And you know, it's okay. There's like no one here, but it's okay. We're going to play anyway. I background noise for anyone wanting to do work. Okay, I'm done. Okay, let me see. We're supposed to form a party, and I don't feel like doing a. Maybe I should have called Alyssa. Oh, that sounds like Shania. It's going alright actually. I've been quite busy. Work 2 jobs now, but you know, it's fine because that's not going to be happening long because I'm going back to school, which is probably the equivalent to like 2 jobs anyway. But you know, it's okay. It's fine. It's like whatever. Brandon, are you? Yo. What's up? Welcome. I'm like living. Yup. I'm living life. And is my audio coming through actually? Living life. It is coming through. Surprise! Let's go! I don't know how to stream anymore. It's been a while. I ain't got no idea what I'm doing. I did like another stream before, and like, I guess that was cool. I don't know. I saw stream wanted to join. Welcome. I am a very, very average dude. I got average clothing in game too, and I play game. I sing sometime. And then occasionally I go yep. Stuff like that. And yeah. I don't know. Welcome. Yeah. Okay, let's actually get into this dungeon real quick. Hold on. Is this for like party finder? Ah, so. I don't meet the requirements for this dungeon. Average item level of 575. That's so annoying. I'm like, I'm 8 off. This never annoyed me so much in my life. Okay. See, I could go walk my way back to Razadhan and go buy something, but the problem with that is that I probably don't have enough of like stupid dungeon credit thingies anyway to buy a piece of equipment that would level up my item level. So for now, you know what we're gonna do with NPCs. We shall have the satrap, and yeah, it works. Member selection available.
Together then.
Oh, I just can't do it at all, even with the NPC. Oh, okay, that's just annoying. I didn't think about that. I didn't think about that at all. Well, okay, I guess we're going back to Razadhan. Where's Akai? Akyala. That's, I can pronounce words, I swear. Uh-huh. I'm going back to Razadhan. I have no idea where I'm going. Okay. I guess I'm going to be running a different dungeon because Razadhan is going to have me buy some stuff that I can't afford without going into the dungeons for very special coins. And so, yeah. Man, I wish Ali was on. Okay, I really don't want to do this like after game stuff right now. I kind of want to go back and do some beginning stuff, but like I don't really play the beginning stuff on my second character without her. So I'm like, Ali, where you at? Why are you sleeping and stuff? Okay. So before, I don't remember. I was going for the Moonward stuff. I don't even think that's still available. Unless it's like... Is it this stuff? Oh. Is this it? Moonward. No, that's Lunar Envoy. Can I not get the other ones? Or am I looking in the wrong place? Lunar Envoy. I actually don't think I can get this stuff anymore. That's upsetting. Is it not the Moonward? I might be mistaken. I might be just dumb. No, it is the Moonward stuff that I was like going for before. Maybe it's a different shop. Totem and Sundry Exchange? I don't know what this is. Uh-huh. Okay, so maybe not. Token? I don't know what a token means. Hanish imports. I don't even know, man. Is it Pandemonium? No, it shouldn't be Pandemonium. Pandemonium has its own stuff. I haven't even been into Pandemonium. I couldn't even get stuff from there if I wanted to. I wish though. What the heck's happening here? just saw. I saw some. Well, that sucks because if I can't get those items, you know, all right, I'm gonna have to do the new stuff then. Shoot, that's really annoying. I don't know how to get Allegan tomestones of astronomy, but I'm gonna have to get like, what's my lowest thing? I have a Radiant Rings of Slaying. I'm just vibing to BH. Good stuff, good stuff. I can get a necklace. How much is a necklace? It's like... $375. Alright, how am I gonna get these? There's like a certain limit daily, I'm sure. I don't think I'm just gonna be able to hop into as many of these as I want and like grab as many as I want. It's not typically how it worked back then, so. Matoya's, no. So, Endwalker. So I can get him by doing the endgame stuff again. I can technically get him from doing the stupid dungeon, but I can't go into the stupid dungeon. Sorry. Can I queue for this now? I couldn't queue for this before. It's only worth like 10 though. If I do like... I get 120 for doing one of these. Okay, I'll do one of these instead. Oh, but I'm a DPS. This is gonna take a while. I should really level up, like, my Sage or Astrologian somewhere. Okay, well, in the meantime, while that's going down, I don't know what else to do then. Spinning the Truth. What is this? This is like my Weaver job class. Craft 3 high quality spindles of crawler silk. What that? There's a Weaver, right? I'm not... Yeah, level 57. I do not have the stuff for this. Is there like a storage, like a free company storage thing here? I don't think so. There is not. There is a trader. There's no like market here either. I have to go back to Eldar real quick. Hello, Sydney. Hello, hello. Long time no talk. Exactly. Hello, hello, hello. How you doing? How's life? I'm currently struggling. Yup. I don't have these materials anymore. I'm pretty sure I have the water. I've never seen these two things here. I'm gonna have to go to a market for it. I really. Hold on. What's closer? What's closer? 923 to go to Ul'dah. If I go to Kugane, I'd rather go to the cheaper option, I'll be honest. I ain't paying that much money. Just go. Oh, I love this place. Welcome to Final Fantasy Inazuma. I've been mostly good for me. It's kind of rocky right now, but I'm doing alright. I don't want to talk about what happened, but you know, it's been rocky for me too. I've been like dealing with a couple things internally. I've been fixing up my car. Got 2 jobs. Going back to school soon, so I'm gonna leave one of my jobs. Yeah. I mean, there was an issue with like a girl I liked, but that's like a story for a story time stream or something about life. Whenever I actually, no, it's like a story for like another one of my comfy VR chat streams. I want to do one of those again. Those are fun, but I don't think I'm gonna have like the same amount of people coming in to talk about life and stuff, which kind of sucks because that's the whole purpose of like the comfy bit of a, you know, it's okay. What was I looking for again? Oh yeah. Oh, I guess I don't have any of these. Okay. How much can I get crawler stuff for? That's a lot. Oh, yeah. I could just as much as I would love to buy that, like just the silk itself, it's like the game's gonna be like, nah, you gotta make it. Don't be lazy. I'm like, okay. This is a hefty price. How much does it use for the actual silk? Hi, yeah, I can make like 2 of these. I need silkworm cocoons. I have like no money. Yeah, I might have to redo the whole Final Fantasy 14 thingy since it's been so long since I touched. I don't have the money right now to keep on playing with the subscription. Yeah. You want to just go back to like free trial then with a new account? How far did we make it? I don't think we made it pretty far. Check your old stuff actually. Or not. Right, yeah. That's the adventure played, sorry. Oh wait, no, you were like level 31. Never mind. I also like playing when I have to buy it. I also like playing it when I have to buy. Yeah. You were like, you're like level 31. Oh dang, you're like 20 levels off from beating the base game in terms of like power. Like you'd have the strength to actually take on like the end of the base game. Like buying the sub thing, so I'm bad with my words. You like playing it when you, well, yeah, because you're paying for it. You kind of want to make the most out of what you're paying for. Yeah. So like, what? You like, since I redo it, so you doing like a, like want to go back to free trial or just at some point in the future, like trying to pay for it? I don't know. I'm not getting it. It's funner that way. You know, sometimes you gotta believe it's funner that way. Just get the most out of your monies. Yeah. I never played Final Fantasy 14. May try it one day though, but no. You know, any day is good. The game has a free trial, and it's nice because you get way too much for a free trial, in my opinion. You get the entirety of the base game, the first expansion pack, and yeah, you can play with people. It's the only limitation, like, it's weird. So it's like you can't send friend requests in the free trial, but you can accept them from other people. You can't start parties, but you can join parties. So it's just like, honestly, it's an experience. It starts off a little slow, but I think it's definitely worth it. At some point in the future, I want to play it when I buy the sub thing. I like buying. I see. Yeah. Well, a lot of people welcoming you back. That's it. It's a little odd, but no, the game is definitely worth a try. There's some pretty beautiful places, and like the adventure's quite fun. Like once you get past the base storyline, it's actually pretty enjoyable. That's why a lot of people don't typically get into it. It's like the beginning base storyline that just starts off a little too slow for them. But that's actually a reason why I'm working on a little project. So I'm working on a retelling of the original Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn storyline. It's a work in progress. I'm writing it at the moment, but I'm all about character customization. You will not believe the amount of fashion in this game. I don't think you understand. But yeah, I'm working on a little bit of a retelling of the original storyline. Oh, it just turned night, huh? Yeah, it's the nighttime music's playing. I love the city so much. This is one of my favorite cities. I love this city so much. I actually used the music from this city for a D&D campaign of mine, but anyways. Yeah, Final Fantasy XIV Champions of Eorzea. So it's supposed to be in Final Fantasy XIV. You become known as a champion of Eorzea at some point, and so I was like, you know what? Let's have like a story of like a tiny. Let's have a story of like a random adventurer making their way up in the world to becoming a champion of the Eorzea and stuff. Like it's interesting. Add little comedy with a little like friendship and stuff. You know, it's just trying to make sure it's not as slow as it is in the game, and you know, I'm hoping people might like it. Even if they don't watch it, I'll be happy to make it anyway, just because I do think that people should have an opportunity to look at the story for this game, the base game, in a different light than just than how it plays out in the game. Just because it is actually pretty decent. So I thought I'd make a retelling of it. I know it's late and I'm still working on it as we speak, but I have a little Christmas present for you, friendo. Wow. Well, you know, send it over whenever that's done. And may I join? Yes, you may. You may join at some point. I actually am going to need a lot of help for it. It's yup. Of course, I don't need. Yeah, cause like, the issue is like it's not really about building. I don't need to have builds cause all of that's in game. I just need people. So it's gonna be a process. Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah, like the only issue is that as we progress further into the storyline, I need people to at least be like level 50. Because I need them to be able to go to these areas, like at least all the way up to the end of the base game. So I'm like, that's the main issue. That's the work. That's why it's gonna be kind of like if I do get one episode out and then it's like I decide to make more, it might be a little slow because I gotta work with everybody to actually like level up. So basically just like play for a little while, just chill, hang out until eventually it's like, oh look, we're like level 40 now. All right, let's go make a new episode. Ooh, also I now has a Switch. Yo, send me your friend code. I've been in this queue for 13 minutes now. I hate queuing as DPS. Oh my god, for premise. Yo, we need to get you a VR headset though. VR headset's nice. I didn't buy what I was gonna buy. Let's buy like this 12 here. And then I need the water. Not enough inventory space. Oh, right, I have a bunch of food. Shoot. Just quick time? This is spell speed. I can't even use that. I'll just eat the food just because I can right now. I haven't played on my Switch in a good while, but I don't play on my laptop or I just play on my PS4. You know, if you want to try this game one day, I can tell you, you can either do it on your laptop. If your laptop's not strong enough, you can also get it on your PS4. The free trial is also available on there. So I'm just saying, I'm spreading the faith here. All right. How does one do that? It's like, sure, I can try my PS4. Yeah. I think it's like your profile pic on the top left of the home screen. I queued up on the top left of the home screen. No! Damn it! I was trying so fast. I was trying so hard to buy that. I just wanted to buy the stupid thing. I'm gonna forget after. P4 might be a better way to do it since it's a bigger kind of game. I don't know. It started on the PS3. It mainly came out as a PC game though. It depends how you want to play. Just I think PC would be a lot better. I already don't like this party. Oh, that's kind of cool. Look at that. I got like adventurer cards. Does that go away or like? Okay, I was about to say, if that's stuck on my screen, I was gonna stop. That's cool. Just introduce us with our port. Oh, right, I'm a DPS, I should be fighting. So Monk plays a little different. I don't know. I heard there was an update, 6.3. I don't know what's changed. Personally, everything looks okay so far. Attack, yeah. This is a pretty cool place. The Ground City of Scala. I haven't seen this place in a very long time. I'm level 70. This is like Is this Stormblood? Level 70 Stormblood, right? This might be a Shadowbringer's dungeon then. Shadowbringer's level cap of level 50. I don't know. We'll see. A paladin for a tank? Oh yeah, well that's one thing about this game. Beware the lights. There's gonna be a lot of that. It's a lot of effects. Alrighty. On Discord DMs. Remember, like, East Chakra, I think. That's how you do that, and then you can punch strike. Use perfect balance, third time. Go, Rem! And then once you perfectly balance it all, you gain access. I thought that's how you get it. Never mind, I just am singing. Don't listen to me. Hey, give me all the effects. Jeez. There's like so many of them in the game, but there's an option to limit them in the settings. And I'm like, wow, that's. I know it's bad. What the heck is. Oh, Jesus! Howling Fist! Oh, that hurts. We are inside the square, right? Okay. Damn it. Hydro pole. What's that? What's that? Oh! Oh my god. Oh, he does need to separate. I'm not quite sure what I'm supposed to do for anything, to be honest. I don't know what the mechanics in this dungeon are. I'm just gonna follow the DPS over here. Who's our DPS? Blue, the gun, the machinist. She has a gun. I got water resistance down. Oh, I gotta separate. Okay. A Scalic Amulet of Fending. I don't need this. I got the free trial downloaded in the morning. Sweet. The funny thing about the Switch is I can't use my full name since even though I'm doing Sydney Lit. Aww. Yeah. It's definitely worth a shot. Catch me on Crystal Data Center, Diabolos. Maybe you'll find me running around. It was 3 letters too long, bruh. Oh, yo. Good strict. One slot remaining. What did I pick up? I picked something, I don't know what it was. it's a quick time materia.
Can I toss it? Oh, yeah.
Okay. No, I forgot they added a little indicator for physical, magic, and unique damage. Next to the enemies and stuff.
True strike.
Sword, two. Bootshine sword, 2017. Battle dance materia. Toss. Holy barrier is nullifying damage. Yo. Yeah. Perfect balance. A steady blade balances the soul. Yeah, good to see you again, friendo. Yeah, I miss you. I play a lot of games that I grind for Saga, so gotta get started definitely tomorrow. Oh boy. Again, catch me on Crystal Data Center via Bolos. That's where I made my character. And maybe you'll find me running around one of the starter cities at some point. I typically have characters on other worlds in the Crystal Data Center and one on Aether, but I only play on my character on Diabolos and stupid other worlds. They're on the Crystal Data Center. So I hear you can travel to other data centers now, but I'm not sure. I think it's just within like the same area though. Defeat the old one. Oh my god. It's a pot of greed. No, let's miss the light. Woo! Mystic Flame. Oh my. I don't know how to charge. I used to have a thing that used to let me run up to enemies and stuff. I don't know what it is though. Oh, don't let me in there. Oh my god. Oh, I don't have fancy much because I'm level 70. No wonder my skill isn't working. Why am I a Spriggan? Why am I Spriggan? There's another cat, yo. Oh. Almost died. I'm a Spriggan again. I think we almost got this one down. Oh, kill it! Kill it! Kill it! We could definitely make a raid with all these effects. Crazy, right? Her name's Cookie, but her full name's Cookie. Aww. Cute. You know, I've always imagined a VR Final Fantasy 14 and somebody's working on that, and I'm just like, as much as you're not supposed to mod the game, I'll be honest, I don't want to see it. I kind of want to see it, even though we already have like Zenith the Last City. It's a pretty good game, but like, it still does need a lot of work. Yeah, they're doing quite well. It's changed quite a lot. The tutorial was actually quite interesting. I got chills. Oh, what the actual? Why is there transfiguration magic? What the heck am I? Corporeal form. What am I? Okay. We're out of the golden walls of Ruin. Boston. I actually can't wait to play. Yee! It's a fun game. Maybe I'll like. You might find me streaming with my friend LAKEY, and like we did beginning characters. We're like still at the start of the area and such. You know, you might find us same world too, like same server. Okay, so I just turn into these. It's a lot of fun if you like grinding games. Facts. See, it's like grindy at first, but then you can just chill once you get to like you're done with it. Like if you want to go venture far off and like find the story, then yeah, it's very grindy. But then like you can also grind to do clothing and stuff, housing. But they did like Animal Crossing style island sanctuaries now. I still gotta actually get an island sanctuary and start growing plants and stuff. Because I have a house now, I just don't have any furniture, and I'm not a carpenter, so I can't really make a lot of good stuff. I can make like a lamp, unless it's that, oh, I'm dying, hold on. I can make like a lamp. Actually, I try my best to get good stuff and be not weak. I'm a little bit behind in terms of like gear. Not like, oh, I'm weak at all. It's just like I used to be like caught up. I used to be able to go to the latest raids, and now I'm like a couple quests behind. Oh, we're at the boss. Hello, lads. I'm ready for this. No, with this music, this is Stormblood Dungeon. I use this music all the time for my D&D campaign. Oh. Oh, I got saved by the sage. Oh, I got saved by the sage. Stop it. What? Oh, half the party got confused. Oh, boy. Oh. I realize I don't have my potions. Oh, these are high potions. These aren't going to do anything, but you know what? It's fine. Potion's a potion. I've heard this song before, man. I used the song recently for my campaign, and because my characters were... Oh, I died. Because my characters ended up traveling to another world to help a friend of theirs that ended up pretty much like breaking down the barriers between worlds to ask for their help. Yeah, they ended up, they're wielders of legendary, like, divine weapons, but they were taken from them. But I'm confused. Oh god. Okay. But it turned, well, once the weapons were taken from them, it's the weapons, the legendary divine weapons of that world that actually came to their aid in their final moments. Pretty much just like they're temporary vassal leaders of that world now, and I'm just like, they were like, yo. Yeah, this is the song that played after the weapons like rained down from the sky, and pretty much at this like, I shall lend you my strength, heroes from another world, save my friends. Because the entire problem was the fact that the divine weapons of both their worlds are being taken from their rightful wielders. And they're being used for they don't actually know what. And so, yeah. It's because they managed to like stop this small, like pretty much stop the guy who was doing that in their world, that the weapons in this other world ended up coming to their rescue. Because it's not the first time they've rescued these weapons that are being used by wielders that are not worthy, like against their will or anything. So it's cool too. One of them wields like this like magic mirror and stuff. Provides some good magic defense. Ooh, I'm gonna need that. I will commend you, healer. You did good. You kept me alive. So that sounds awesome, not gonna lie. It's a whole thing. Story sounds amazing. Yeah, it's the whole actually, now that I'm like sitting in this city, it's actually like so this city pretty much matches the theme of the world that they're exploring now. And yeah, because they originally came from a very medieval styled world, like medieval fantasy styled world, and then they eventually rose up from one of them being a slave to a king, the other one being summoned to this world for being summoned to this world to serve as a hero only to like pretty much not seem right for the role in any way, and it being extremely confused, and then having everybody turn their backs on him, and the third one being coming from a destroyed home, and they three of them ended up eventually like picking themselves up, meeting, becoming good friends, eventually a family, and one by one they rose up to the title of hero, in which they were chosen by a divine weapon. After realizing his, isn't that that's all, after he realized his and like came pretty much with himself, he just kind of accepted the role and said that he's gonna do his best. That was when the weapon finally came to him that didn't appear when the day he was summoned. The one who was a slave to the king was a very frail, weak, sick boy, but eventually worked up to being a general of the royal army, and then eventually being chosen as a hero by a divine weapon from that other world, not actually his own world. He was chosen by a divine weapon from that other world that they're exploring right now. Then the one who came from a destroyed home after a disaster that struck the kingdom, she found herself to feel like she was worthless, in the sense of she wasn't special, she wasn't a hero or anything, and she was born with the defect of she actually can't use magic very well. Her mana flow is very irregular, and that's the whole thing with her character, in which yeah, while she technically has the spell casting class feature, she is limited to really casting cantrips. She can't really do anything higher than that, but eventually she ended up meeting actually, hold on, I have a campfire somewhere here. We're gonna look for a nice spot. I'm gonna do story time. Let me see if I can find in this city. This is Kugane Castle. Hold on. Normally I'd have done it in the marketplace, but I felt like it was too crowded. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, so she has born with a birth defect of like irregular mana flow, so her spell casting is very limited. And on top of that, she just didn't feel like she was good for very much. And it wasn't until she eventually ended up meeting this man who referred to himself as the Star King. Apparently, he was just more of a realm walker. He's visited many different worlds and seen many different people and lived quite the life. But eventually, after meeting her, he was actually intrigued and pretty much became sort of like her therapist in a way, and just kind of talked about life with her, even though he actually couldn't remember the majority of his own. And it was actually by talking with him that she ended up feeling a little more confident in herself, and felt like she was doing quite alright on her own, and she didn't need any special weapon to make her, well, special. And so she ended up eventually becoming a master of martial arts and manipulation of life force, which she actually had quite the aptitude for. And so she ended up basically becoming a monk with a custom subclass that I created for the storyline of an ancient martial arts style that involves manipulating life force in many different ways, and she was good at it. And it was after that, and after training like that for quite a while, that eventually the Star King came back to her world, and he was happy to hear her, like, all the things that she did, and decided to choose her as his successor by imparting his memories of his old fighting style, and so that she'd have some help in her journey in the future. And she ended up becoming the inheritor of a dead fighting style from her own world, but also the inheritor of a dead fighting style from the world of the Star King. And eventually she ended up going on a long journey when the group had to visit a country that was being threatened by a phoenix, the release of an ancient phoenix. They had to they did some exploration, and she ended up going to the temple of an ancient divine weapon. Turns out the journey there was a trial, all led by a kid she had met on the streets that decided to tag along for the adventure. Turns out he was the guardian of the divine gauntlets, and so she ended up showing to the kid and the guardian that she was worthy of the gauntlets, and thus she also rose to the title of hero. Which it was an interesting thing. She was chosen by the gauntlets for having newfound patience and the will to protect, and even while she could have the power to destroy, she instead chooses to use said power to better herself and better others. And so that's why the gauntlets had chosen her. As for the one that was a slave to the king, being chosen by a divine weapon from another world, that weapon chose him because of his display of power. They had actually gotten into combat for the weapon, and he had succeeded, and thus it stuck with him. But yeah, no, currently they traveled back to the other world, and because a friend of theirs had traveled to theirs for help, nearly on the verge of death. Because the thing about it is that they were never supposed to have met in the first place. The fact that they met one time already was an exception, a grand exception, enabled by the weapons of that world and its spirits. But they were never supposed to have met, and the fact that their friend managed to make it back to their world to ask for help was already something crazy, and he almost died for it. And yeah, now they're there looking for a friend of theirs that they consider almost like a little sister. She is the last divine hero of her world, And without her, that world falls to ruin. And so they're looking for her so that, of course, that world doesn't fall into ruin. And it's really just that they just don't want their dear old friend to die. This should be made into a movie. They've come a long way. This campaign started over a year ago, and they've come a long way. And yeah. On the journey to go rescue their friend, they had their weapons taken from them and were chosen. Well, 2 of them had their weapons taken from them, and then they were chosen by divine weapons from that world. One of them a mirror, the other one a musical instrument. Have a good night, or night, day, afternoon. I don't know. Thank you for stopping by, though. I appreciate it. But yeah, it's a whole thing. Seriously, I want to make a story one day like this. I have a creative image to carry ideas like that. I've been a story writer for quite a while. I don't think any of my stories are particularly good, but I still stick with them and try to work on them as best I can. But yeah, it's funny because they mentioned like after a year, the big bad of the entire campaign finally starts to show his true motives, in the sense of like they've been fighting smaller threats like defending villages and such. They at first thought invaders from another world were like the true enemies, only to find out that they themselves were just being controlled by the very people that were causing the entire issue in the first place. They were tricked by leaving behind an ancient legend that said they had to travel to other worlds and destroy those to save their own. They made an alliance, thus that's why they have connections between these 2 worlds, and why the other one came to help in the first place. Next thing you know, they thought like, oh, legendary beasts were like being released around the world that they had to take care of. It's like, oh no, it's the end of the world. And then now it turns out like, yeah, now the big bad's finally coming up, and they finally figuring out like what's the issue? Why do they exist in the first place? What are the weapons for? Yeah, they've definitely come a long way. I definitely don't call that my greatest story. I don't even know if I consider my greatest story my greatest story. It's been alright. I think, let's say, I used to write this one old light novel called Alternia Divide, which was, I guess that was my first dive into isekai writing. Like otherworld, like guy that goes to another world type writing. that was like my first dive into it before like this campaign. Alternia Divide was the story of a boy named Kai, like a high schooler. He himself lived on his own and lived with the fact that his parents had passed away. Nobody really knew what was going on with him, and nobody really thought anything was off because he put on such an act. It was after one day visiting his friend Rachel. She lives by a lake. While he ends up kind of stopping by the lake, he ends up accidentally falling into the lake, and upon swimming back out of the water, he ends up finding himself in a forest in a different lake of sorts. It's there where after walking around for a bit, he finds his way out of the forest onto a cliffside where he looks at the expansive world that is definitely not his own. Valleys, mountains, fields as far as the eye can see. And he almost ends up getting killed at first by a guy riding a horse who ends up trying to shoot him down with fire magic. He ends up being saved by a swordsman who wields wind magic. Together, they end up talking for a bit, and they become really good friends. And it's after pretty much an entire lunch meal that the swordsman knows that Kai is from Earth, because the swordsman has been to Earth as well, and he's aware of the fact that that the portal exists. Not in the fact that that exact portal exists, just the fact that it can exist. And so, yeah, it ends up becoming the story of like Kai wanting to be able to like unite both this whole other world that is now known as Alternia and Earth. He wants to be able to travel between them so that one day he'd be able to show his friends. But in reality, it's the story of him coming to terms with the death of his parents and learning to actually seek out help and opening up and talking, not shutting people out. But it's not just him. When the friends get introduced to this other world, it also becomes their story, a story of four friends. Kai, Rachel, who has a problem with not being able to let go of the past and wishing things would stay. And then there's Wolfram, who his lineage is technically royalty way back in the day, but he ends up being born into a family whose mannerisms just are to look down on other people that are just not on their level, quote unquote. And he just doesn't want to do that. He wants to follow his own path. He doesn't want to inherit his father's company. And he wishes that time would just let him have a family where they don't look down upon others. He wishes he could go back to the good old days when he thought that things were alright with him and his parents. I'm kind of shy. Oh, I don't have shy with me. I can't do that. Whoops. And then there's Demi, who he's a very clumsy guy, but his main thing is that's just it. He feels like he's good for nothing and feels like he'll mess everything up. So what's the point in even trying? It's very nice. the story is very much like Spice and Wolf. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. Yeah, it's like traveling across from like village to village, selling, having fun, going to festivals and such, discovering ancient ruins with magic and such. A couple of battles maybe. And overall, it's very slice of life almost, like fantasy slice of life. And I really liked it at the time. I still kind of do. I just don't like the way it's written now in my documents. And it's I've added quite a lot of drama, like love drama, especially like the idea of Kai not exploring Alternia for the first time, and that he's visited this place before in his dreams, and it's that dream world self that had a life there before him. And the consequences of that is a girl named Seren who has been spending years of her life looking for a friend that just one day disappeared. A friend that one day disappeared because Kai stopped dreaming of Alternia, and thus he disappeared from that world. And now Seren is meeting this other version of Kai who has no idea who she is and is a completely different person, yet looks exactly the same and technically is the same person. This is that. I love that type of stuff, but nah. I think my most current novel project would have to be my like little supernatural universe I've been working on. It started off as like a story just called The World's Worst Hero, but now I decided to add 2 more perspectives in the form of 2 other novels that take place in the same universe. You have The World's Worst Hero, the story of a teenager living in a world of super
Mission failed. We'll get him next time.
Oh my god. She terrified me. I lost my train of thought. Oh my god. It's the story of a teenager living in a superhuman society that pretty much he himself was born with a superpower as well after a specific event occurred. It's 5 a.m. That scared me too. Yeah. He was born with a superpower, but in the end, the superpower he was born with turned out to be a little bit more of a birth defect than anything else, in the sense that, like, he used it, and people thought of it as super strength, because he punched a guy across the classroom in grade school, only to find out that it pretty much shattered his wrist. He shattered his own wrist with the punch. And doctors told him that as he grew up, the power, his like super weird super strength thing would just continue to grow stronger, but that's not a good thing, because his body could not actually support the power itself. And so he was forced to not use it, which led to his mama saying, "You can't be a hero." And he wanted to, and so he did. He, in secret, went to go take the exam and got his hero license. But due to certain events that occurred that the world doesn't actually know the actual true events behind it, he was deemed by the media the world's worst hero by dropping to last place in the entire United States hero registry after a disaster that he didn't actually cause. And he just accepted the title at some point, which, well, it looks like he doesn't really care, and he takes the title proudly, and he just tries as hard as he can anyway. The title does actually affect him a lot, but he ends up meeting a friend that eventually becomes his sidekick, and they pretty much deal with high school life and the superhero life at the same time. Then we have the heroic magician, the not so heroic magician, who that's actually more of a magic side story that takes place in the same universe around the same time. Occasionally, the protagonists of these two stories will actually run into each other on both sides. The not so heroic magician is the story of a kid named Marcus who ends up pretty much running away from home for his parents trying to basically force him to hide his identity as a magic user, which they did it for good reasons. They just didn't go about it quite well. And so he ran away and just pretty much ended up becoming a Class A hero and being the first and only hero in the world who uses magic out in the open for everybody to see in the public, which attracts a lot of sorcerers, wizards, Aztec sorcerers, and it leads to a whole thing where he's sucked into the dark side of the city that these characters live in, where he's dealing with people that get kidnapped and go missing that people can't find. Turns out they've been used for rituals, like obsidian knives, like cutting people's skin to turn into them, and all that sort of stuff. And so that one's a little darker, but I like it just because because of that. It's not as fun theme, and it's like it has a little bit of like jokes in it, but it's a little bit more on like the darker side, and I like that. And then the third one is a Scienza High, the same world, just in a different part of the world, in an isolated city called Arc City that closed itself off decades ago. After the appearance of superpowers, as scientists wanted to create their own and find out why they exist in the first place, and they closed off an entire city to basically use as a testing ground. And in the years that came, it became the most advanced city in the world in terms of science and technology, but the students there are used basically for research, not in the sense of like test tube stuff. It's just their entire school curriculum is literally meant for research, in which they succeeded in replicating superpowers in a way, but they don't work exactly in the same way. And it has to do more with the fact that they're able to replace their own reality reality with their own. And because of that, there's a scientific theory behind it that involves their powers based on mental math calculations that they do unconsciously, which sucks because some people are better at math than others. And so their powers tend to be a lot weaker than standard superpowers. But the protagonist of that story would be Kazuki Mayazumi, who lives in Arc City and ends up dealing with basically living a vigilante life in the city, not knowing anything about the rest of the world, as the people in the city, you have teenagers with a bunch of random abilities. They're being used for research. The majority of the city is pretty much a cesspool for chaos. There's a lot of stuff goes on behind the scenes that some of these schools, quote unquote, are not exactly ethical. So yeah, that one's sort of interesting because we have one for superpowers, one for magic, and then one for science, and the three characters eventually are destined to meet. And it's every time they meet, it's very interesting to write because it's a combination of like three different power systems, and it's just like whoa. Like, it was just very interesting to write certain things. Like, there are certain rules that apply in their universe. For example, one that wields a superpower cannot use magic. Mainly because of mana having a really weird effect in an area that emits basically the radiation a superhuman emits. They emit a specific type of energy, and then the people in Arc City emit a different type of energy. And the superhuman and Arc City people, their energies aren't compatible. They're direct opposites to each other, thus they cancel each other out. And so it's, let's say one fires a fireball and another one fires a lightning bolt. If they were to come into contact with each other, they just kind of disappear and undo themselves from reality. It's a very interesting phenomenon, but I like writing it because it's just it makes for some very interesting reactions from the characters. Kazuki herself is like capable of plasma manipulation and creation. So sometimes it just shoots like a ray of plasma just to annoy. And Mr. World's Worst Hero is able to just slap it away and it just kind of disappears. And so she gets very annoyed by it. They kind of end up like developing like a brother and sister dynamic. Anyways, I should probably be heading off here now. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, I'll be sure to do more of this type of stuff, maybe a little earlier in the day. But yeah. Oh, I took a picture for some reason. Yeah, I'm trying to do this stuff more early in the day. And yeah. Definitely probably not this weekend though, because I have my sidekick coming over. I call her my sidekick, sorry. I have a friend coming over this weekend to stay over, so probably no streams this weekend. But you know, we'll try and get back in the swing of things at some point. So yeah. With that, I'll see you guys around. And yeah. I don't know, subscribe, follow if you're on Twitch. If you like my stories, I guess, you know, I'll tell more. So, I'll see you around.